Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Artistic Map Productions. We here with the one and only Shug Diddy. You know, yes sir. You know, blessing the media, the production, the music world, for all the music gods once again.
Hey, I appreciate the invite, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ron the Riches. You know what I'm doing. Representing BMP. We out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm representing Augusta, Georgia as well. Hometown, you know what to do. We down here in Grayson by way of Carrollton. Had a wonderful show. Salute Devon T and LaShonda. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? All love. Definitely.
Appreciate you, man. So on the show, man, we like to talk about the blueprint, man. The blueprint comes from where you're from, who raised you, which is very important in my eyes for any type of aspect. Because you know, your principles and your thought process, how you move in life, comes from the people who you came from.
Exactly.
So let's start there.
Okay. Well, originally born in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Augusta, Georgia, partially raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, a couple of years here and there. I was raised individually by both parents. A couple of years with my mom, a couple of years with my dad. Just getting in trouble, getting shipped out to one parent, can't deal with them, not gonna deal with them. Right. But most of my adolescent life and teenage years was in Augusta, Georgia. My adult life ended up being in Fayetteville. I moved back to help my dad out and everything. He's retired airborne. So, but yeah, as far as raising, I was raised by the village. You know, I come from those eras. I'm 43 years old. So, you know, my mom helped, my dad would help from a long distance or even make them trips down if I needed that discipline, and then vice versa. You know, at times that I'm with my dad, my mom on the phone, oh, you need to do this, need to do that. Don't make me come up there. Don't make me bring you back down here, all that kind of good stuff. So then my grandfather, aunts, uncles, older cousins, you know, I come from where godparents actually, you know, weren't relied on if something happened to the parents. They were active. If they seen you out and about, you know, so you had 15, 20 godmothers, 15, 20 godfathers, a whole bunch of godbrothers and godsisters, you know, and just friends of the family that were real tight. Their kids were raised with you. You go to their house, they come to your house. So as far as on a getting into like business and entertainment, like both sides of my family are full of hustlers and entrepreneurs. A lot of independent business owners, and some in the corporate world, some, you know, just mom and pop type businesses. So, you know, and then just influenced by a lot of people in the neighborhoods that, you know, doing good and bad. So, you know, it's just learn how to maneuver through life. You get those little jewels in the neighborhood where, hey, don't do this, don't do that. You also get the ones, if you're gonna do this or that, do this or do it this way or that way. You know, whatever, however you get the information, is about seeing how it applies to your life, how you can put your own spin on it. So yeah, definitely.
So, you know, growing up on the military base, right, there's some sort of, there's structure in a way. So how did you kind of structure your life in the music world?
Well, fortunately but unfortunately, I wasn't raised on the basis. Okay. You know, like with that is just, you know, my parents both had their individual houses and whatnot, rent for a while, and then eventually buy the house. But as far as like that military influence from my dad in structuring, just discipline, knowing when, you know, saying what times to speak, not to speak, as well as, you know, knowing that some of them times that you're not supposed to speak, you still got to speak. So that way people know where your head's at. As far as camaraderie and loyalty and dedication, those are influences that came from that military background that my dad brought to the table. You know. So
with music, who introduced you to music?
Say that again.
Who introduced you to the music world?
I will say originally my sister.
Okay. Shout out to the sister.
Yeah, shout out to my sister Maya. As far as just the different genres of music, I mean, of course, you had your parents playing music, your mom cleaning up, your dad having the cookouts.
Was it
your
the
friends over.
hole in the wall? Like, you know?
Well, actually, and that's the funny thing. One of my mom's aunts had the Harlem Supper Club in Pritchard, Alabama. I mean, it's a landmark. So if you Google it, you'll find out about them. So I would say, as far as my sister's influencing, she just had all kind of music that she'd be playing off the record player. I hear stuff that my mom and my dad played, the jazz, blues, a lot of the 60s music. My grandfather had his own little juke joint on the side of the highway in Grand Bay, Alabama, outside of Mobile, Alabama.
Nice.
And so, and then of course, my great aunt, she had the supper club that I was saying about, the Harlem Supper Club, which is historical down there in Alabama. They had all of the Chitlin Circuit musicians. They stopped through there. That was like the prime hot spot. So I would say Hole in the Wall influenced a lot of our family involvement in music. Of course, being from Augusta, Georgia, you know, access to James Brown, access to Tony Mercedes records, pressure from off the South Side. You even had Troy that came through and did his little thing, you know what I'm saying, the No Limit Tour, all that. So, I mean, that's just, I'll say it came from just being around other people that was into music, and just kind of, it's just natural. Most of us gravitate towards music, whether we're happy or we're sad, upset, need to calm down, in love, broken heart.
Right.
You know, so I say that it wasn't one set source of exposure influence. It was pretty much everything under the sun.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So who was Shug Diddy from 18 to 30? What was your life like then?
From 18 to 30, the ultimate hustler, and still am. Doesn't matter, you know, what it is, if it's a way to make money. Even from selling mixtapes, I had an uncle that's from Harlem. He used to come down with the mixtapes, so I would sell those. You know, I had my run in the streets and whatnot, and fortunately, I was smart enough to maneuver not to get any prison time or jail time,
Right.
As well as keeping money on a good lawyer that used to be a judge and a DA at one time.
Right.
So, you know, anything out there that you can think of, street element, I've been exposed to it, involved in it. Just realizing that, like everything else, the things that we think are good things come to an end at some point. You get locked up, arrested enough times, and your record, even though you don't have any felonies, because I was lucky to get felonies converted to misdemeanors, you know, due to the type of charges, without having to involve anybody else or make somebody else take the blame, because I stepped out that door. So it's my responsibility, whatever I get in trouble for, I have to stand on that as an adult. You know, even as a kid, you just don't tell on nobody. You don't tell on your friends. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Because if they're your friends, they're gonna support you no matter what you're going through.
Right.
You know, so 18 through 30, you know, like I said, I had my little dabble in the street, then started, when I started breaking away from that, I actually started managing group homes for a friend of the family. So it was like a way to balance the scales. I did a lot of wrong, so let me try to steer the kids that we worked with, because we had a lot of kids that were there for behavioral problems, court order. Families just didn't know what to do. Some families decided they didn't want to try anymore to see what they could do. So it was just like talking with some of them to try to kind of show them that there's a different way to get by. There's a different way to get cool points without having to get yourself in trouble or be out there committing crimes or fighting all the time. Just help them realize that you got to mature at some point. You got to grow up. You know what I'm saying? You can't run the streets forever, because eventually you're going to either get locked up, killed, you know what I'm saying, paralyzed, whatever the case is, and you're not going to be able to do that stuff no more. So it's just basically also, I would get with younger people and as well as older people that
Right.
always wanted to be their own boss, but didn't know what all steps to go by. And so from learning entrepreneurship throughout generations of my family.
All right. So how important is mental health for kids and adults?
Extremely, extremely. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 50. So, I mean, we don't know what's going through another person's mind. We don't know what triggers them to be happy, sad, abusive, defensive. You know, from a step parent or even a biological parent, what they might have gone through. As a child, you don't know about your parents' life before you were born. So you don't know if their parent was verbally abusive, psychologically abusive, you know, or physically abusive. So with that, we have to learn how to ask probing questions. Some people, you know, the more and more questions you ask, the more and more frustrated they get. It's like a sign, you know. But at the end of the day, with mental health, you can help somebody by just being kind to them, just showing some kind of concern. You know, how you feeling, what's going on with you. If you need somebody to talk to, we all say, oh, if you need somebody to talk to, you can talk to me. But you gotta actually listen, you know, without judging, without being chastising towards that person for whatever it is they're going through, because it takes a lot for somebody to open up about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling, what they've gone through, you know. So I think it's very important. Against the social norm, there's nothing wrong with therapy, you know. Sometimes it takes a person asking a whole bunch of questions to help somebody figure out how to express themselves, because that's the biggest thing, is people know how to express themselves because they're already fearful that if I tell you this, what are you going to think of me? You know, and a lot of us don't have that I don't care what somebody thinks mentality, which is healthy. It's healthy, but it's also unhealthy.
It is.
Because for you to feel that nobody cares, you know, so it's just, we all got to figure out a way to not be so judgmental about what somebody's going through. If you sit there and say, oh, these people are insecure, what causes them to be insecure? What happened to them? What is it? And we got to stop and think about what it is that we might have done or didn't do that triggered it. You know, not everybody walks in damaged. You know what I'm saying? Some have rehabilitated themselves emotionally or mentally, but it just be something that happens, some kind of flashback, you know, that could trigger it, and it's not their fault. You know, people might not have taken the time to try to understand them or try to encourage them to seek some type of help for what they're going through, because they might not understand it. They might just think, oh, you just using that as an excuse for attention or a method of deflection. You know, you don't want to deal with this, so you blame it on that. And it's not always the case. You know, so you got to find a way to get somebody to build trust and comfort with you to its steps. You know what I'm saying? To encourage them within themselves, because they have to feel, it's just like a dog. You know what I'm saying? You can walk up to a dog and just hold your hand out and the dog backs away from you, or the dog moves forward and lets you pet him. You don't know what that dog went through, you know what I'm saying, before it came across your path, or vice versa. So mental health is very, very important. A lot of people are in denial about having a situation, because we ain't gonna say an issue, but a situation, whatever they're going through. So they might not be able to identify where the source comes from, what makes them feel that way. So we just gotta try to be patient with folks, you know, and that's a lot of things that causes problem, is people don't wanna be patient. If you're not gonna change right now, right here, or overnight, I'm not gonna be bothered with it, and that hurts that person more, because depending on at what point and process they are in their interaction with you of gaining confidence. Okay, I feel I can talk to them. And then all of a sudden, right when they're about to open up, oh, you act like you can't talk to me or explain, and now you just reverse the whole process and you mess it up for somebody that they could come across that might be able to actually help them understand and overcome. So it's just, be careful how you treat people. The dishwasher might be the person that hands you $1 million or teaches you how to make the $1 million, but the way you talk to them, the way you acted towards them, you block your blessings, you know what I'm saying, or the possibility of them. So,
Nice. So, what's some words of wisdom that you live by, and how can you be reached out to for guidance and help?
Okay. Well, Instagram and most social media, you can catch me at Shug Diddy. Some of them have an underscore. Just look for this logo for the most part with the shark. That's me. On Facebook, Jason Stewart, JASONSTEWART. You'll probably see the Shug Diddy in between it or in parentheses behind it. Like shugdiddy@gmail.com. You can reach me directly. What else we got? If you just see me in the street, you know what I'm saying, holla at me. I'm approachable. I'm not one of those, I'm approachable. So if you need help, need help for somebody else, want to try to understand the situation you're going through, hit me up. Doesn't matter, direct messenger or however. As far as inspirational words, just keep the faith. Do what you got to do. Realize that every day is going to be different. Only way it repeats itself is you keep repeating the same actions. And as they say, that's insane if you're getting the same results that ain't benefiting you or giving you a progression in life. And just be willing to network with people, because you don't know how you can help somebody or how somebody can help you. And just do it with genuineness in your heart. Don't do it, oh well, if I blow the dirt out of his driveway, he's gonna come cut down all the limbs in my yard. Nah, if you genuinely want to help people, help them. Don't expect nothing back. If you're offered something back, you know what I'm saying, you ain't necessarily got to turn it down, but you ain't necessarily got to take it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people offer you something just to see how you're gonna act. And part of those psychological issues is, they only doing it because of what they can get out of it. Well, if you do something nice for somebody, just at least once a day, say something nice to somebody. And just watch their reaction. It doesn't even have to be the same person. Just as you cross somebody, hey, how's it going? You never know, you might change their life. You know what I'm saying? They might have been ready to go jump off a bridge, and you that one person that said something nice to them or even asked, y'all might not even end up having a long, drawn-out conversation. You know what I'm saying? But they think about it, you know what? There's somebody that was nice enough to actually open their mouth up and speak to me, whether they see me again or not. Be encouraging. Work with these children. Let them know that what they see on TV and hearing music, it ain't guaranteed to work for everybody. If they work hard enough for it, it may work out for them, but be prepared to accept the fact that there's going to be disappointments in life. It ain't going to go the way you want it every single time, each time, and be willing to accept constructive criticism, but overlook the bashing that might come along with it. Either you listen to it or you let it go through one ear and out the other. You might pick up something out of it that you can, articulate into your own style and fashion and make it work for you. But don't just be discouraged that people are coming down on you. Sometimes people just don't know how to talk, but the message that they're delivering could be beneficial. But, somebody does something nice for you, do something nice for somebody else, pay it forward. But at the end of the day, just keep faith. Whatever you believe in, your morals, social teachings, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with in life, if it makes you feel comfortable and you feel like it helps you, roll with it, regardless of what other people think. Because at the end of the day, everybody got an opinion, but everybody can't dictate or direct your life for you. You got to take that step, you know what I'm saying, towards your goals, dreams, or whatever it is. Just, you know, be about your family. You know, if you got friends and you know that they're genuine, hold them close to you, because tomorrow you wake up and all over social media, so-and-so, such and such, this, that, or the third. So, but at the end of the day, be willing to understand that there's going to be a disappointment here or there. The person you in love with might wake up and say, hey, I don't want to be with nobody at all. You know, trust that people are going to be them. If they them, that's just them. You're you. Might be something about you they don't like. Might be something about you that rubs somebody the wrong way. It's going to happen. Just move forward. Try to agree to disagree at the end of the day. You ain't got to punch somebody in the mouth because they don't like what you're saying. You ain't got to punch somebody in the mouth because you don't like what they saying. It's a way to get around everything. All obstacles were set up with a way to get around it or over it or even through it. So just be good to people. Be good to yourself especially. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do for you. Do what you got to do for your family. Then do what you got to do to help try to make the community around you better. You know?
Oh, you said it all.
So, I mean, hey,
Yes, sir.
when I get on the roll, I get on the roll. So yeah, it's a rare occasion that I just open up and just talk with folks. And just go because I'm more of a background person. You know what I'm saying? I like to listen to other people, try to help them solve their problems, help them figure out a way to make things not so bad. So, you know, it helps. Some people accept it. Some people, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about in your opinion. But there's somebody else that sees that I do know what I'm talking about. So I ain't mad, you know what I'm saying? You learn for yourself. That's what we got to do, learn for ourselves. You know, we came in by ourselves, even if you got a twin, one of y'all came before the other. So you came in by yourself, even if you in a car wreck and everybody die, you still got to wait in line to either go upstairs or go downstairs. So, you know, just make the best of what you can. Take a positive out of any negative. It's easy, you know what I'm saying? Easier said than done, but if you don't stress on how hard it is, it won't be as hard as you think it is. So, you know.
All right. Appreciate you, Shug.
I appreciate you, definitely. Hey, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Be good to each other. Be good to yourself, more importantly. Definitely.
Thank you. Yes, sir.